Welcome to the $50 million Bezos Sanchez extravaganza wear midlife crises wear designer suits. Celebrities leave their principles at home, and the fashion memo reads, "Gaudy meets grotesque." Venice has become a billionaire playground filled with mega yachts, private planes, and enough self-importance to flood the canals. The guests, supposed climate advocates lounging in luxury, quotes riven celebs sipping champagne with a man who runs Amazon like a dystopian simulator. And of course, the Kardashians, at least they're consistent. This wasn't a wedding. It was an over-the-top display of ego, wealth hoarding, and glittery absurdity. Strap in, we're diving into the most tone-deaf, clueless, and straight-up cringe event of the year: Jeff Bezos marrying Lauren Sanchez. That's right, the world's third richest man tied the knot in what can only be described as a tasteless spectacle. They were even caught rolling in yacht foam like teenagers at spring break. Classic midlife meltdowns has been spiraling for years. And while all this was happening, real crises raged just hours away. This wedding wasn't subtle, it screamed opulence louder than a space rocket launch. And no one screamed it harder than Jeff and Lauren. Their Venice circus takes the prize for most tone-deaf elite celebration in recent memory. Naturally, it stirred backlash. Protesters descended on Venice, pledging to make it the city that stands up to billionaires. The original reception had to be relocated after threats of inflatables flooding the waters. Since her tabloid-fueled debut in 2019, Lauren has become a paparazzi obsession. Whether we like it or not, she's now a fashion force. The guest list was star-studded and jaw-dropping. The Kardashians, present and decked out. Judging by the outfits, maybe the theme was fashion faux pas, or possibly just Lauren-inspired. Chaos. Honestly, I can't even tell anymore. And yeah, I get it, time being harsh. But any celebrity activist who turned up here needs to zip it permanently. Why anyone would voluntarily link up with Jeff Bezos, man so empty of soul. He makes cardboard feel emotional, is a mystery. Still, money talks, and Bezos, he practically screams. Oxfam reports the top 1% have gained $33.9 trillion since 2015, enough to eradicate global poverty 22 times. Jeff alone holds a cool $231 billion. He sees the world suffering and responds with foam parties and gold-plated nonsense. Forget global issues, let's focus on Amazon itself. A recent Senate report found that Amazon warehouse workers are nearly twice as likely to get injured as those at other warehouses, and another study revealed that half of those workers were struggling to afford basic necessities, like food and a place to sleep. Meanwhile, Bezos earns more in 13 minutes than the average American will see in a lifetime. Of course, some defenders of this ugly-ass wedding will smugly point out that the couple asked for charity donations instead of wedding gifts. What a limp. Little PR band-aid slapped over a gaping moral wound. If these people actually even gave half a about anyone but themselves, they would pay their taxes, fund real solutions, and stop launching ego rockets into space so they can pretend they're astronauts. It's embarrassing now. Let's talk about some of these guests. Now shall we? AKA the Hypocrite Parade, one of the many bold-faced liars. Bold-faced names jetting into Venice is Leonardo DiCaprio, yes, the guy who has been banging on about climate change since the 9 South and launched his own eco-foundation just last year. He slammed Trump, saying, "Climate change is killing the earth and ruining our economy. We need a bold step forward." Apparently, that bold step includes hopping on a private jet to party with Jeff Bezos, a man whose carbon footprint has its own carbon footprint. Over 90 public jets touched down for the wedding, and the rest of the guests cruised in on their super yachts, obviously. But hey, don't worry, Leonardo. DiCaprio is a changed man. His current girlfriend is 27. He usually dumps them at 26, so he's totally changed. But yeah, maybe next time. He's preaching about the environment from a private jet with an embarrassingly age-inappropriate woman we could decide to listen to, like I don't know anyone else also on the guest list. Evil Honoria, this one breaks my heart. I really love Desperate Housewives, I really do. She's previously called Trump's mass deportations inhumane and hard to watch. She even used to work with the Democrats, but sure, she's totally fine popping champagne with 2 people who smiled through his inauguration and wrote the checks to make it happen. Cheers, Oprah and Gayle King are also at the wedding. How the mighty fool once two women relied on for info and great book. Recommendations now completely and utterly out of touch with reality. Gayle famously was on that very widely panned space flight with Lauren Katy Perry. And others, she took a lot of heat for it, rightly so. But although Gayle is a really good interviewer, it seems that she's absolutely terrible at taking feedback personally. I will be taking my book recommendations from non-billionaires going forward. If anyone has any book recs, pop them in the comments. I like anything where people have magic powers, the Kardashians and Jenners. Everyone was there, but at least they're consistent. They've never pretended to be anything but obsessed with wealth, so naturally this wedding fits their vibe perfectly. Honestly, they might be the only ones who didn't show up pretending to care. Reports suggest that this wedding rang in at a staggering $50 million. That's right, $50 million, in a time when folks are struggling to even buy groceries. Bezos and Sanchez made their grand arrival via helicopter, because why not stack luxury transportation like Pkemen cards? The pair stayed at the wildly extravagant Amon Hotel, where a room with a decent view can bleed you of 4,000 euros a night. So what exactly are we witnessing here? A romance? A fashion nightmare? Or just a tone-deaf circus of affluence so removed from everyday life it reads like a parody? While the ultra-rich are literally partying in bubbles. The rest of the planet is choking on inflation, burning through climate chaos, and deciding between heat or food. But hey, let's give Bezos a slow clap for tossing $50 million at his fantasy bash while cosplaying as some kind of intergalactic hero. This wasn't just another tacky wedding, it was a bullhorn blasting just how delusional the ultra-wealthy have become. No filter, no grace, just sequins, floating palaces, and a level of hypocrisy so thick it could be bottled and branded. Ode to billionaire meltdown. So yeah, the outfits were easy to mock, and sure the vibes were hilarious, but there's a darker layer underneath. The people who have the resources to make real change are too busy sipping champagne on yachts while the world burns in the background. Here's to that, I guess. If you liked this breakdown, I've got a full deep dive on Jeff's full-blown midlife spiral and Lauren's so-called feminist image. Check it out, and yeah, those people. Just those people. Later.